Good afternoon. I hope you're all well. Okay, so it's Friday, so it's the last video that I'm putting together these lives for Talk Money Week. And this time around, it's all about retirement planning and putting money away from, putting the money away for later on in life. So this is an area that I deal a lot with, and so pensions have all sorts of connotations with them, depending on how old you are and how far away from retirement are in your experiences. But it doesn't have to be, it's not a complicated thing. Really, what we're looking at doing is we've identified what our income and outgoings are currently. What we want to do is try and put away money that we've earned now for later down the road, where we may well not want to continue to work, or we will retire and do something else. Retirement isn't about doing, stopping and doing nothing. It's about doing something else, whether that's working for a charity, more time with the family, grandchildren, travelling, all of those sort of things. Each individual will have an idea of what that looks like. And so you kind of want to understand, what is it if you didn't have to go into work, and commonly if you didn't have your mortgage to pay, what would you want to do further down the line? Because it's really starting to look to put away some of the money that you're earning now for that in the future. And the way that we do that commonly is by using a pension. And all a pension is just a pot of money. It's a great place to put money because there's certain tax advantages of them. But essentially all it is a way of putting money away for the future you. And then in the future you can then convert that and start drawing down on it and taking it as an income, the same as you would do if you were just putting that money into a bank account. So it doesn't have to be complicated. How you take the pension in the future will all depend on what the rules are then. How you want to take that income. There's lots of different ways of doing that now. But the key element is just building up as much money as you can do in that environment to be able to replace the income that you're earning now. So when you think about retirement, it has nothing to do with age, really. It's all about, if I don't work, where is my replacement income going to come from to allow me to do all the things that I do now? So when I sit with clients, I'll often identify where their money goes at this moment in time and look at those outgoings and say, okay, well actually, what of those outgoings do you still want to pay for when you don't work, when you can't work, or when that choice of working is taken away from you? Now, if you had that replacement income now, and you were fortunate to have something that was, already a big pot of money that was invested for you, then you could retire at whatever age you wanted to. I know people that have sold their business when they're young and retire in the sense that they no longer need to work, but they're not of retirement age. So this idea that it's about being old is it's not the case anymore. People, when you get to common retirement age of 65, you can be fit and healthy, but you just might not want to do the job that you've been doing all your life because you had a mortgage to pay, children to bring up. It's all about giving yourself that choice. So in terms of pensions and retirement planning, it's looking at, okay, well, where can I put some money now that I can use in the future? And one of the best places you can do that is with your employer. So if you're employed and you're lucky enough to have an employer that provides you with a decent pension, now every employer should provide you with a pension, and then there's a certain amount that they will have to pay into it on your behalf, and you also contribute to it. So the first thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're getting the most out of your employer's pension. So you need to check into what your benefits are, but most will pay up and match a certain amount of your payment contributions. So for example, if you pay 5% into it, then they may well pay another 5% into it. So it's essentially free money. They're giving you a pay rise, but you're just not getting to spend it now. You're going to get to spend it later down the road. So if you're only paying 3 in, but they'll match up to 5, there's some room there where you can start to increase those contributions and benefit from that. I often get asked, how much do I need to pay into a pension plan? And it's really, mostly it's all really about what you can afford. So again, we're getting back to that income and outgoings and seeing what disposable income you have and whether you can start to squirrel some more of that away for later down the road, once you've paid down your debt. Because if you pay into a pension or you save money into the pension, then the government will give you a tax kick. So again, it increases the very day you put into it. And then it's commonly invested because of the length of time that we're investing for. So it'll go up and go down, but that's exactly what you want it to do through the lifetime of your savings. But you're getting it, it's investing again in a very tax efficient manner. So this is why it's the place to put money away. It's not the only place. So if you've got spare savings, anywhere that you can buy an asset that will give you an income in the future is going to be a benefit to you. They'll all have different tax implications. A lot of people like property, where there's going to be taxes involved in that. Others like to invest outside of a pension, so just in a normal investments, and those tax implications of doing that. So, but whatever asset it is, if it gives you an income later on in life, then you can use that. We use retirement pensions because they're very tax efficient. But again, it doesn't have to be overcomplicated. It's just a pot of money. Just thinking about you in the future, about what pot of money you're going to need. And when we look at how much, it's really a case of how much can you afford, bearing in mind that the closer you get to retirement, the more money you're going to need to put away, because you need to build that pot quick. So commonly I'll talk to people about saving 15% of their gross household income as a ballpark figure. Again, it's going to be personal because that'll depend on what sort of income you're going to want in the future. Now, what I will do is I'll pop a link on below where there's a website you can go on to where what they've tried to do is give you an idea of what an income would look like, or what you'd need. One to kind of survive, one to thrive, so you get a bit more holiday, you're spending money, and one where you can enjoy the things that you're probably used to enjoying now. So don't let pensions and scare you, because they're not overly complicated. But what happens is people just don't think, oh, I'm never going to get to retirement. Average age is 86, and they now say there's more and more people are making it to 100. So really do need to start thinking about a pot of money that you can spend when you get older. So try not to, don't overcomplicate things. Look at your employer's pension, see what they're offering you, make sure you're maxing out your employer's contribution, and then consider, could you save more? You can make lump sum payments into them as well, so later on down the line you've got the ability to put more in. There are certain rules on how much you can pay in, but again, don't let it overcomplicate it, because it's not. During our working life, it may well be that you've picked up pots all over from different employers. So again, one of the options you can do to make it simple is to consolidate them all in together. But you really need to do your research on what type of pensions you've got, and whether there's any downsides to moving them into one. So that's just really a bit of a taste. That's one of those fundamentals to give you that financial well-being. Make sure you're considering you in the future, really, because he will come, you'll get there, and you hope you're in a situation to think, thankfully I've been saving money from an early age, and I've got a reasonably decent pot, and it's going to allow me to do the things that I want. I've now got the choices, whereas if you get there, you don't have the pot, the choice, you're just not giving yourself a choice, and then you're just dependent on how much you can continue to work and how much you can squirrel away. So retirement planning, something really key. real fundamental, and probably won't come on your radar in terms of thinking about it until you get closer and closer. But don't put it off. Try and do it now, and then thank yourself for it when you get older. So have a great weekend, and any questions, just shout, and I'll speak to you soon.